On a gentle stroll.
The relatively simple track.
In broad daylight.
Must be lunchtime.
In a public forest park.
Keep getting the word gone.
Love you.
Love you too.
On June the 13th, 2005, 62-year-old Kay Stewart went missing in the Rimutaka Forest Park near Wellington.
As Kay Stewart just simply got lost.
She's so far away.
Kay's disappearance sparked one of Wellington's biggest ever search and rescue operations.
No clue of footprints or clothing or anything was found.
When folks don't come down and pick people up.
Her disappearance remains a mystery. The whodunit.
Grandma's just don't disappear.
There's no answers, is there?
Very, very clear on that.
When official searches were called off, Kay's family spent 8 months combing the forest.
I just wanted to get in the bush and find Mum.
A pretty confusing, distressing time.
It's just horrible.
And there's so many things that don't make sense.
Clearly the family want answers.
Now Kay's family have turned to sensing murder for help. Tonight, 2 gifted psychics will turn to the spirit world for insight.
I'm starting to get stomach turns now.
The psychics will work alongside the head of Lower Hutt, CIB.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Any tool that can be used should be used.
We need to start with this.
Psychics can help us to locate Kay, and that's great.
No pressure.
Will the psychics confirm police suspicions?
I now believe that foul play is a strong probability.
If I go that way.
I just asked, are you sure this is foul play, sweetheart?
Quite possibly we are dealing with culpable homicide or a short murder.
It's creepy, it's yucky.
And provide new clues that could assist the investigation.
The sound of the chainsaws stands out.
My neck.
Why is it so random?
Why is she saying you know him?
He lied, yes.
I feel like I might have gone that way.
My heart's going through the roof in here.
But she wants me to go that way.
What are you saying?
What's going on?
This photograph from 1966 captures the first meeting of Bob and Kay Stewart.
We went out to the Pines one night with a group, and that's where we first met. It was a great time and decided, well, we liked each other. Kay was a very friendly person, and that's what attracted me to Kay. One of the things I remember most about Kay is how direct she was, and I'm sure all her friends will recognise that. Kay had no fear in telling you what was what.
Bob was equally direct when he proposed to Kay 6 months later.
And then Kay went off overseas for a year. Try that one. But she was a great correspondent. I've still got a shoebox full of letters that Kay wrote to me when she was travelling.
When Kay returned to New Zealand, the couple married in Kay's hometown, New Plymouth.
We had a great time. It was really an occasion. So as weddings go, it was as good as they get.
A year later, Bob was at his Friday night work drinks when Kay arrived to deliver some special news.
Kay comes in and says in an extremely loud voice, "We're having twins." Guess what? Cost a few beers that night.
Jane and Tania were born in 1970.
Oh, she was very, very, very good mother. And she looked after the girls extremely well. And later on, as the children grew up, Kay used to spend a lot of time with them and take them around to all sorts of places.
She was really fun, actually. I probably noticed about every playground in town. She took us out and playgrounds, beaches. She did things with us, She didn't just take us somewhere and leave us. She'd actually played on the playground with us.
And I have lots of memories of say, going to pools all over Wellington. And then when we were in the pool, that was always fun because she'd always scare us by being a shark. Come for us.
Kay successfully balanced motherhood and a busy career. She worked as a physiotherapist, treating some of New Zealand's finest sports people, including members of the All Blacks.
The last thing you want to do is what the physio tells you to do, because it isn't pleasant, it hurts. But Kay had a special knack of bringing people along, shall we say, and getting them to do things, and she was very successful.
Mum spent a lot of time reading over books and, updating her information a lot, and always wanted to know more and took her profession quite seriously.
No matter how busy she was at work, Kay always made time for Bob.
We'd sit down with a glass and just talk about what we'd each been doing. Kay and I were close friends, really close friends.
And they've always got on really, really well, always gone on lots of trips, enjoyed each other and communicated. I've never seen them argue.
We just had I suppose if you single anything out, it was mutual respect.
She was very caring, very calm personality. You never really saw Mum greatly upset or she was just very easygoing, fun. She liked having adventure.
We did a trip to New Plymouth in 2003. We actually went to the place where Mum grew up. It had been turned into a bistro. And then Mum hopped on the banisters and slid down the stairs on the banister. The restaurant was just in there, and that was just extremely sense of fun.
Kay remained young at heart and was a devoted grandmother to Jane's children.
The three boys were just an absorbing interest for Kay.
Mum was a great grandmother. She really enjoyed it. She'd be down on the floor crawling around and had the lightsabers out playing Star Wars and playing soccer on the field and, chasing them around. She was like she was when we were kids.
And she was always like that with the children.
When Kay was 60, she retired. But that didn't mean slowing down. She kept busy volunteering for community organisations and delivering meals to the elderly.
She enjoyed that for two reasons, that she met people and also that she kept fit running up and down the stairs.
Mum did voluntary guide work down at Botanical Gardens, taking people for walks. She always went for walks.
Keeping fit was extremely important to Kay.
I think that goes along with being a physiotherapist. She had the interest in being healthy and fit and knew that you needed to keep your body strong.
She'd go down and swim 30, 40 lengths or so. She'd do that once a week at least.
On June the 13th, 2005, Kay drove her daughter Tania to an arts facility in the community of Wainuiamata over the hill from Wellington. Kay had 2 hours to fill before collecting Tania, and so she announced she was going for a walk.
And she said, out of the blue, I'm going to the Rumataka Forest Park.
Oh, love you. Love you too.
Kay promised Tania she'd return by 12:30.
And she looked over with a big smile and happy. She appeared happy.
But when 12:30 arrived, there was no sign of Kay.
I was waiting 5 minutes, and it might sound strange, but in that 5 minutes, it's like my smile went away because I couldn't understand why she wasn't there, because I knew that she would be.
Tania, who suffers from chronic fatigue and anxiety, became increasingly worried.
But it wasn't till about 1:10 that one of the staff heard me saying that this is really unusual for Mum, that they started to get worried too.
2 staff members drove Tania to the park to look for her mum.
I have to say that I was already quite stressed and worn out. It was an awful trip. It felt like it took a long, long time, but apparently it's only about 13 or 15 minutes down to the park, but it felt like it was an awful lot longer.
Tania and her 2 friends arrived at the park at about 1:45 p.m.
And there was Mum's car.
Mum!
And that was a real horrible moment.
Mum! Mum!
My thoughts were to get some help and to get some help now, because I thought that Mum had actually fallen off the track and was seriously injured.
Tania called the police, who notified the rest of the family.
I thought what everybody would think, oh gosh, she's got off the track. I looked out the window and it was a bit drizzly, and I thought, gee, that's pretty miserable out there.
I was quite agitated on the way out there. It was not a nice drive, actually. It was quite a very uncomfortable feeling right from the beginning.
Next, one of Wellington's largest search and rescue operations is launched to hunt for Kay.
I began to feel extremely uneasy about the whole thing.
It's like you're hanging by a thread. You want them to say they've found Mum.
Rumataka Forest Park consists of 22,000 hectares of mostly native forest. Its vast network of walking tracks are popular with trampers, campers and day walkers like Kay Stewart. When the 62-year-old grandmother failed to return from a walk in the park in June 2005, police soon swung into action.
The Police Communications Centre were contacted at 2:04 that afternoon. Local police were immediately dispatched to the Rawataka Forest Park.
The early assumption is that Kay was either simply lost or injured in the vicinity of her vehicle or the tracks that she had walked.
While police searched the walking tracks, Kay's family waited anxiously.
It's very hard to describe. It's all happening and you don't have a choice of how to deal with it. You just have to.
When we arrived there, things were, to me, quite confusing because I didn't know what the heck was going on. I couldn't understand, why they, first of all, why haven't they found Kay?
When we got out there, it was pouring with rain and we couldn't get on the tracks. We weren't allowed to go over to where her car was. So it was sort of waiting and very agitating, actually, because I'm the sort of person that I just wanted to get in the bush and find Mum.
As this initial search failed to locate Kay, Wellington Search and Rescue were contacted and a comprehensive search and rescue operation was mounted.
As dusk approached, more than 100 people joined the search for Kay. The weather was deteriorating and she was wearing only light clothing.
Clearly, as the night continued and Kay had failed to be found, concerns grew for her safety.
That's when it began to really come home that, if Kay was just missing down one of those tracks, they've already been over them,
Kay had visited the park only once, 10 years prior. However, she was bush-wise and knew to stick to the marked trails.
While Kay was fit and active, she wouldn't ordinarily walk through rugged bush, so it's unlikely that she would have deviated from the simple tracks that she first entered.
The initial search for Kay was called off at 1 a.m.
Leaving that night was very hard and disappointing.
I remember going to sleep that night and waking up in the middle of the night, crying and yelling out, no, no.
Your emotions are just in turmoil and they're nightmares.
The search resumed at first light.
Search and Rescue coordinated a very comprehensive search in the park over the next 3 days. This included use of helicopter. Dive squad members were called out and they searched all of the waterways within the immediate park area.
I began to feel extremely uneasy about the whole thing.
It's like you're hanging by a thread. You want them to say they've found Mum.
I became convinced that Kay wasn't missing, that something had gone wrong.
I remember my sister coming in to tell me you're going to have to accept that, Mum's passed away.
After 3 days, the official search was abandoned. Then Kay's family organised their own search party.
We had 60 people out there searching, and then from that day on, we searched every day for 2 weeks. No clue of footprints or clothing or anything was found.
At the end of June, police and the army launched a second major search. Kay had been missing for over a fortnight. This time, the focus was on finding her body.
5 cadaver dogs were also flown from around the country to assist in this search. Again, this was a very comprehensive search in the environs of the park, and the boundaries were clearly extended quite some distance into the park.
We did find a number of items, which included spectacles, clothing. One particular item was a stone out of a ring that was located down a bank. Unfortunately, none of those items that we did find related to Kay's disappearance, but it is an indication of how thorough the searches were.
I suppose there will never be a time that I'm not grateful for the police for what they did. They just couldn't have done a better job.
As part of their investigation, police attempted to piece together a detailed timeline of events leading up to Kay's disappearance.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Mum.
She dropped her daughter off
Bye.
in central Wainuiomata at approximately 10:30 that morning, with the arrangement that she would pick her up again at 12:30.
At approximately 10:45 a.m, Kay arrived at Rimataka Forest Park.
Just upon entering the park, she has gone to the main information centre and spoken to a dock worker there and sought his advice as to what the most appropriate track would be for her to walk, given the conditions, the weather conditions, and the time that she had available.
A kilometre up the road there.
Kay said she wanted to go for an hour's walk. The Department of Conservation worker recommended 2 possible tracks.
The next indication we have is that she was seen in the vicinity of the entrance of these tracks at about 11 o'clock.
Police can't be certain which of the 2 tracks Kay chose to walk.
The first track that was pointed out to her was the nature trail. This is a relatively simple track. It takes approximately 15 to 20 minutes to walk. It's akin to walking along a footpath, essentially. The Tonga Trails is another track that was identified to her. Again, this is probably slightly easier to negotiate than the nature trail and takes approximately 20 minutes to walk. Again, this is very similar to walking along a footpath.
The next reported sighting of Kay was at 1 p.m. at the dock compound. Police are not sure how she got there.
This is situated on the coast road itself and is some distance from where Kay parked her vehicle.
The information provided is that Kay sought directions back to her vehicle from a dock worker.
Clearly she's already late to uplift her daughter and we can't explain where she's been in the meantime.
Knowing Mum, she had to pick up Tanya at 12:30 and there's no way Mum would ever let Tanya down.
Because she knew that Tanya would worry if she wasn't there.
The directions that were given to Kay at that time was that she simply had to leave the dock compound, follow the main tar-sealed coast road back to the entrance of the Rimataka Forest Park and simply walk the 1.8 k's on a wide tar-sealed road back up to where her car was.
The road is clearly marked. It's a 2-laned road through the park, and unless she deviated from it, she shouldn't have got lost from the park entrance to her vehicle. Nobody has come forward to tell us that they passed or saw Kay on the route from the compound to her vehicle.
I mean, there's so many things that don't make sense.
With Kay's disappearance, there are obviously a number of scenarios that need to be considered. Firstly, has Kay Stewart just simply got lost? There is a slight chance that she has accidentally met her death in the Rimataka Forest Park.
The likelihood of a tramper or a hiker falling down a bank is conceivable.
However, with the 2 extensive searches that were completed by police and army and other related persons, we would have expected to find her.
Some media reports suggested that Kay was on medication that may have disorientated her and caused her to wander off the beaten track.
Her mental and physical condition at the time of her disappearance caused no concern, and I think probably a bit more was made of that than needed to be.
Another scenario that was explored was that she had intentionally disappeared.
We were happy, Kay was happy.
You know a person and it's just not a possibility in this case.
Her bank accounts have never been touched since. There's been no sightings of her. Her passport has not been used. At the time of Kay's disappearance, she was fit and healthy and in a good state of mind.
There's no possibility that Mum could have taken her own life.
She didn't carry burdens around and she wasn't carrying any burdens that day.
There is simply no logical explanation as to why she would inflict self-harm.
CIB were involved right from the beginning, so the possibility of foul play was there right from day one.
I now believe that foul play is a strong probability. We keep a very open mind. We could speculate and say it's probably a local. However, you know, Wellington is a big city. A lot of people have access to that Rimataka Forest Park.
The park is also known to attract poachers and cannabis growers. Police issued an amnesty in exchange for information.
No one came forward as a result of that to say they had been in the park either poaching or stealing.
On the particular day that Kay disappeared, there'd been quite extensive flooding in the park, so probably very little people were using it that day.
We've spoken to some people who've been in the park that day, but it's thought to be in the vicinity of about a dozen people.
However, police are aware of at least one man in the park that day who has not come forward. When Tanya and her two friends first entered the park to search for Kay, they passed a man driving in the opposite direction.
Partway along that Catchpaw Road, the three observed a red quad bike, possibly towing a trailer, driving towards the entrance of the park.
He actually gave a smile as he went past us.
This person has never come forward and has also been the subject of many media appeals.
Makes you think either they are involved or they know who's involved.
Obviously, this person remains a person of interest in relation to this investigation.
Refusing to give up hope, Kay's family returned to the park up to 4 times a week. Friends and even total strangers joined the search for Kay.
We have searched for 8 months and you can't search the whole area. It's just huge. It's impossible. My instinct tells me that Mum is there.
When I go out to the park, it's the closest I can get to Kay. And I've lost a huge thing out of my life. And that's what makes things a bit empty, really empty for me.
And I can't help thinking that she's on her own, and that's really sad because we always have rallied around as a family when something's happened to one or other of us.
I was very determined, and I still am, not to leave my mum where she is. I don't believe it's right to leave her lying where she is.
So it's one thing I want to do with the rest of my life is to do that for Kay, is to find her and put her to rest in a proper place where we all should be.
Next, 2 psychics breathe new life into this baffling cold case.
You know me.
Just keeps popping in. Margaret, Margaret, Margaret.
You need to find me.
Kay Stewart's distraught family spent 8 months tirelessly searching Rimataka Forest Park. Like police, they failed to find any sign of her. Prompted by watching Sensing Murder, the family decided to take a different approach.
I went to a number of psychics and analysed all the similarities and the information.
One of the psychics Jane contacted was Sensing Murder's Kelvin Cruikshank.
Did not see the second bureau footprints.
All Jane told Kelvin was that her mother was missing.
Kelvin initially came up to Dad's house and met with us and spoke to us and gave a lot of personal information. Said that there was a Margaret in the family, and that's actually Mum's given name is Margaret. And then we took him to the park with us. Kelvin believed that Mum had been attacked.
Jane also contacted psychic Deb Webber in Australia for a telephone reading. They later met briefly after one of Deb's shows. Deb had never visited the park, but was able to describe the area.
So she described going into the bush and that somebody had attacked her and that she was driven down the road, and she described where she thought that she'd been driven to, which in my mind describes the same place, if I figure it out correctly, the same place as what Kelvin was saying.
Deb and Kelvin independently concluded that Kay had been murdered in the park. Jane took the psychic's findings to the head of the Lower Hutt CIB, Detective Senior Sergeant Ross Levy.
And he then decided to contact Sensing Murder.
You know what their symbol is?
Ross Levy had previously dealt with Sensing Murder on another case, the 1979 unsolved murder of pensioner George Engelbrecht.
The psychics used on that occasion were uncannily accurate and came up with information that was never made public.
Ordinarily, Sensing Murder does not allow the psychics to investigate a case they have already worked on. However, the psychics' initial findings about Kay's disappearance intrigued police, who were keen to see if the psychics could delve deeper.
I'm prepared to listen to any take that the psychics come up with for the simple reason that we have an unsolved mystery here, and any tool that can be used should be used.
We will keep an open mind, but we must bear in mind that any evidence or information that we get must have some sort of evidential substance to it.
For the first time, the psychics will investigate a case they have already worked on. They are not told in advance which case they will be investigating. As per the normal sensing murder rules, the psychics will only find out their destination at the airport and will be kept under constant supervision. However, in this case, the senior detective in charge of Operation Stewart will conduct both psychic readings. He will ask questions and give confirmation only if and when he feels it appropriate. For the first time, the psychics have been invited to work directly with police. The readings will be conducted at the headquarters of Operation Stewart, Lower Hutt Police Station. Deb flies from Australia to Wellington, where she meets the head of Lower Hutt CIB, Ross Levy.
Hi, Deb. I'm Ross.
Ross, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Come on through.
Deb is offered a downturned photograph of Kay to help her tune in.
Well, to begin with, I'm getting a female energy. Feels like an older person, not a child. Because I keep getting the word mother. So she was probably a mother herself. She's coming through with lighter skin, not dark skin. She feels slender type build, medium to slender, not big woman. She looks like she might have slightly wavy hair. Something about hair. Come on, a bit closer, come in a bit more. There's bits of, it could be grey, not long, it's shortish hair. Energetically, you would say she's probably in her 50s. Birth-wise, though, she's in her 60s. She's 62 or 63, around about there, 62, 63.
Kay was 62 when she disappeared.
I keep getting Margaret in my head, so I've just got to get rid of that out of my brain. Just keeps popping in, Margaret.
Kay was christened Margaret.
I'm getting active though, like really active, not sporty active, just, what would you say? I enjoyed life. It's a woman that would wear pants and wear dresses. Some women will only wear pants, but this woman would wear dresses and pants. Casual dresser, neat, but neat. Must have had a very neat home, very home proud type woman. I'd say comfortable, but not rich, not poor, you know, comfortable. Maybe because the house looks quite nice. But she feels like she had everything that she needed anyway. And I keep getting a male in the background, so I say she was married. I haven't got arguments in the family or anything like that. I've got actually an atmosphere of niceness, love, nurturing, chatting, sort of family that, you know, they could spend time together, quite close knit in the heart, for sure. And she's got 2 daughters, because I've got 2 girls. I asked how many daughters, and I've got 2 fingers coming up. Daughter. Why is the daughter so strong? Does the daughter keep pushing, or something with the daughter? Who's Jane?
Jane is Kay's daughter.
Come on.
Deb soon makes another revelation.
I keep getting the word gone. She just feels like she's so far away that she could even be missing.
On a different day, Kelvin is also invited to Lower Hutt Police Station. He has not been told which case he will be working on.
Hey, Ross.
This is the head of the CIB here in Lower Hutt. So Ross is going to be talking to us in the interview situation. And all will unfold. There's no checks, no nothing.
Always a difficult situation to be in, especially being thrown in the deep end with you blokes. Very honoured, I can tell you that, though. From the bottom of my heart, I'm really stoked about that. Really stoked.
Kelvin is offered a photo of Kay. Like Deb, he chooses to keep it face down.
I'm just going to start warming up because I've just been thrown in deep end here, so it's all good. Okay. Alrighty. Man. No pressure. Sugar. Man, there's a lot of stuff coming in. Just so that you know, Ross, what happens is that I download the information and then it all blurts out, so it takes a few minutes. Where do you start with this?
Doing a reading in front of a senior detective is unnerving Kelvin, but not for long.
I hate doubting yourself. Buffy hair. How do you say buffy? Permed, perhaps? Curly would be a word. weird. You know me. What's that all about? Kay. Margaret. Stuart. You know me. This could be interesting. You need to find me. Okay. Yeah. I've got a feeling I know this person. I'm all excited. Okay, Stuart. What if you put me on a case I already know? Why would you do that? It's so unfair. That's pretty tough. Oh man, there's just so much stuff coming back in. One thing at a time. Very exciting because I have to be really honest with you, Ross. I have helped the family out on this case before.
Ross Levy asks Kelvin whether Kay's family told him any background about the case.
Jane said, my mum's missing, can you help us? And I said, yes, sure. If I can get stuff for you, then I will help you. So Jane never talked to me about anything. Realistically, I did what I do with sentencing murder. I've done hundreds of readings previously to now, prior to now. And the indication of trying to remember everything is really hard for me to do. So this Kay will have to show me the way again. And she is telling me, and has told me previously, and she's telling me again that there's foul play involved with this. Are you sure this is foul play, sweetheart? She goes, yes, very clearly.
Next, the psychics ask the spirit of Kay to return to the day she vanished.
I love, in a deep tone.
The sound of the chainsaws stands out.
It's really creepy.
It's been several years since psychics Deb Webber and Kelvin Cruikshank first communicated with the spirit of Kay Stewart. Kelvin instantly recognised the grandmother's spirit.
Kay, Margaret, Stuart, you know me.
Deb is tuning into Kay's real name, Margaret.
I keep getting Margaret in my head. Margaret.
She doesn't yet realise that she has met her spirit before. Now Deb attempts to retrace the day that Kay went missing.
She seems to be by herself in the morning. Doesn't seem to be anyone else in the house. Can't see her husband, which is interesting, so he's not around.
Kay's husband, Bob, wasn't around that morning. He'd spent the weekend away at an amateur radio conference.
Hello?
Now there must have been a telephone call.
Assis?
I'm not sure if that's a telephone or she saw her daughter, but there's a connection here with the daughter. What's the car got to do with the daughter? She might have even picked her daughter up. I keep getting lots of trees along the road. Seems to be quite a windy sort of road that I'm going up. She's taking me up hills, windy road.
There is a windy road over a hill that leads to the township of Wainuiomata.
So they'd already planned to meet. Pick her up and drop her off somewhere. So this must be late morning, so that's when she dropped her daughter off.
Now look, I'll be back at 12:30 to pick you up.
I don't feel she's supposed to be gone that long. Maybe an hour, a couple of hours. She's going to pick her daughter up in the afternoon.
I'm going to go for a walk.
I wonder if she told her daughter she was going to go for a walk. Again, on her own, feeling good. I'm going to turn over, see if I can get her stronger. Okay, where are we going from this? It's like I've got a blank.
Even the photograph does not seem to jog Deb's memory.
Hi, Kay. Okay, it's nice to see you. Okay. She's lovely, eh? She's a lovely woman. Very, very pleasant lady to be around.
She's very well liked, very loved.
Margaret's her real name.
Margaret still keeps coming up. Right, she has to be a missing persons. Hardest ones to do.
I'm just going to turn her back over now, just so that I can work.
The psychics continue to tune into the day that Kay disappeared.
So it must have been lunchtime, round about mid-afternoon, lunchtime-ish that she went missing.
11, 12, 1, 11, 12.
Sort of midday-ish or early afternoon.
She's making me feel as if it's important just to understand that timing's crucial in this scenario because he lies.
Kay arrived at the park at approximately 10:45 a.m. She intended to do an hour's walk and return to pick up her daughter at 12:30.
When I see the car, I see gravel, so it could have been, I don't know if it's a dirt road.
The road was gravel at the time of Kay's disappearance.
I see cars coming and going and this car's just sitting still. I can see leaves and trees, grass, bushland, a lot of bush seems to be in front of the car.
Deb has never visited Rimataka Forest Park, but she has described the area where Kay's car was found.
I've locked the car and off I go. I'm walking now. She's just walking, walking.
One of the biggest mysteries is which track Kay took. The psychics attempt to find out.
I didn't go up the track, which is the track to the left.
Is there a bridge there or a platform? A walkway bridge, it looks like, because I can still see the bush. I can't even see a rail or all I can see is the planks on the ground.
The track to the right is the Ngā Trail. It now has a long walk bridge, but this wasn't there in 2005.
Her walking would have gone about at least 20 minutes in so far. How can you pop out the other side? Think of that. I don't understand what that means. For some reason, I don't feel I'm going down the same path as what I went in on.
I thought I'd walk up to the car park area and do a loop and walk back to my vehicle.
Does this thing start at a car park and then go to a main road or something onto the other side? It's like I'm hitting something else, another road or a path but it's like the bush has stopped on me.
The psychics may have identified which track Kay took. The Ngā Trail loops back onto the main car park. The psychics attempt to discover what happened next.
Come back to the car. She's intent is to go back to the car.
I walk straight down the main road bit. And the sound of the chainsaws stands out.
There's a man, a gentleman, that one part of this.
She's saying to me, walked along, just met this person.
Hello, love.
Said hello.
Hello.
I keep getting hi, love, in a deep tone. It's really creepy.
What was he doing?
Very strange, but it feels like he's there for some reason.
She's showing me the wood. She keeps showing me the wood. I can see the work boots, the shoes, you know, the woolly socks.
Keep getting the words. That can mean a number of things.
He actually looks older than his years. He's quite weathered, let's put it that way. She uses the word weathered.
I'm definitely not getting a feeling of a young boy, you know, young adult. More like a middle-aged type.
She just said rough around the edges.
Like, doesn't take care of himself all that well. Like look-wise, appearance-wise.
Swan dry. It might be just in a green swanny. You know, that dark green, just plain green swanny.
Yeah.
Oh, he's quite large around here, though. This is the thing that's getting me. I just keep getting the words, he's creepy, he's yucky, and I'm going, yes, I realise that, and I can feel that. Why does he keep saying
Rimataka Forest Park has experienced problems with vandals and poachers. Police are aware of numerous instances where people have illegally taken firewood from the park. However, no one has come forward to say they encountered Kay while chopping wood in the park that day. The psychics go further.
Yeah, people can snap, eh? He's one of those ones that are really nice and placid, and then when he snaps,
Bang.
Yeah. It has not been premeditated, it's just been a spontaneous situation.
Being grabbed on the arm, though, because I keep getting a pressure, like a hand.
Why is it so random? This is sicko, okay.
Oh, there's this part she's blocking Every time I go to see what happened to her, she's worrying about her children's daughter.
There's a bang to her head. She's showing me that.
What is that? My neck.
Blow to the head for sure. Fractured skull because of the blood on the sawdust.
My head is so sore. My neck.
The back of an axe, not an axe to cut. The back of an axe, you know, the flat side.
Yeah. Back of the head type thing.
Yeah.
What's going on? Where am I going? Show me.
It's been hit. And then that's where it goes dead quiet. Remember how I said it goes blank?
Yeah.
And that's the part she's blocking me to see what was happening with her at that moment.
Why it goes blank is because of the impact. It's the silence of... It's her showing me her passing.
Both psychics have independently concluded that Kay was murdered by a man she encountered in the park. Next, the psychics visit the park to discover new leads.
I died in the park. I've been taken out, held and moved on.
Since 2005, Kay Stewart's family have been searching Rimutaka Forest Park for her body. The Sensing Murder psychics believe that Kay was murdered there. In the presence of the head of Operation Stewart, the psychics now attempt to discover where her killer took her body.
The person who was chopping the wood knows more about this case than all of us put together. See, she keeps showing me the quad bike and a trailer.
How did you know that? Was that something you were told?
Kay told me that.
Right, so the family didn't mention that to you?
No, not at all.
But I keep getting like the sounds of engines for motorbikes because there seems to be a lot of noise.
What I'm saying is that that person that was driving that quad bike has had a connection with Kay on that day. He's put her on the little trailer because there's a little trailer involved. Now I can feel the wood coming on top of me. And people have seen him leaving. He drove straight out.
Straight out?
Of the gate. And I'm just asking which way did he go? What's happened is that he's been seen coming out. People have come in as he's been coming out. I've seen him.
Tanya and her friends did see a quad bike and trailer leaving the park. The driver of this bike has never come forward.
She's showing me the log cabins or the logs, signification to being hidden. Now, let's say we've taken her out of the trailer, put her behind a big pile of logs.
When I go to the road, is there like mechanics or something down there? Shed. Why she keep showing me a shed thing?
He's even tried to have a look for her too. It's very possible he got involved with having a look.
Why is she saying you know him? You know him.
Someone has questioned him. Yes. He lied. Yes. Come back to me. Come back to me. She sees that she... But this is not true.
Did he take her there after she had passed?
Yes. I've got big goosebumps. I want to cry about now.
I don't know him. Do you know him? Someone knows him.
Then she shows me that she lay idle for a certain amount of time and then she's removed again and waited until it was dark or everything had calmed down. Woof, woof, woof. There's dogs going nuts as well. Ute. Put on a ute and then he removed her from the area. Where are you going? Not in the park there itself because it's taken out. And now she's showing me the forestry sign. The fire, you know, that says...
Isn't that one like that? Moderate, medium, high?
No. It's more like a triangle. Is there gates that go further up into the hills and up and over the valleys, way past where we would possibly even think of walking? Is it possible?
I go out of the car park, I can go still up the hill. Up the road. Like if I drive out of that car park area, I can go up and around up the hills more.
Over a little river, and we want to start looking in the next valley. And then there'd be logging and stuff, and there'd be slips, and it's so hard to find anyone in that area.
There seems to be something to do with the vehicle going up and around that. I've gone out of where she was, and then somehow I've ended up going up around.
You said they crossed the stream, Kelvin?
Yeah. where the gate is, instead of going up into the thing, go down across the stream and then the next gate on the left, if there is a gate there. I'm going to be really blunt with you, Ross. She's in that area. She's not where everybody thinks she is in that park. She could be just one valley over where nobody's bothered to look. Word of caution. It's possible he has a firearm. He may not have a firearms licence, but it is possible he has a firearm.
The psychics have come up with a number of new leads that could assist detectives investigating Operation Stewart. To continue their search for clues, the psychics and police travel to Rimataka Forest Park.
See, she's a little bit frightened about coming back here. She's just telling me I'm a little bit frightened about it now.
Driving to the forest park, Deb suddenly realises that she has worked on the case before.
Did a phone reading on this case with her daughter. I don't know how long ago, though. That's a year, maybe. Really, maybe longer than a year ago.
On the journey, Deb continues to channel new information.
I think the man's already there before she actually even gets there. Feels like he's been there all morning. 40s, late 40s, 50s. I know he's not young. There's no one around. I can't see anyone else. And I get a struggle. It's like I can't get any voices or sound out of my mouth.
At the end of the day, I don't understand the motive. Maybe there isn't one. Maybe it's just a random temperamental thing, you know?
2 years ago, Kay's family took Calvin into the park. But as he approaches the entrance, he asks to drive straight past.
Straight through for a minute, please. Can you head down here, Jeff? Private road, no public access. That's where I want to go. Where the gate is, instead of going up into the thing, go down across the stream and then the next gate on the left, if there is a gate there.
The gate is unlocked, but the road has restricted access. So the crew decides to head into the park first.
I would like to know where that goes. I'd be interested to see what's on the other side of that hill.
Deb is visiting the park for the first time. Detective Senior Sergeant Levy challenges her to locate the area where Kay parked her car.
I feel like I've got to go in more, right up to the square bit. I'm looking for a walkway in too, because where she parked, she walked in. Because she walked in near a car, virtually in front of it. Why would she come this far in? It didn't feel this far in when I first looked at it.
Deb has passed the area where Kay parked her car. She is now in the main car park.
This is what I keep seeing, like this square, this sort of square.
Right.
Part with a car. But I know that's not where her car was.
Deb is confused. She asks to turn around.
You're too far away because there's a track near it. A walking track. So it can't be too far away. It'd be here somewhere. This all looks the same in my vision. Is that the track? I reckon it's here somewhere. It has to be here. Here. Because that track was a point of reference. Here.
Yeah, you're bang on, dude.
Was it here, though? Or just up there? Just up there, isn't it? On that grassy bit? Yeah. But now she's still taking me right up to the end car park. She just keeps taking me up there.
Ross Levy clears up Deb's confusion by confirming that she has just driven the exact route that Kay took. She was seen by a witness at around 11 a.m.
I can confirm for you that when Kay did come down here on that morning, she did in fact carry on up here and do a loop of the top car park, come back down over the ford again and did a U-turn here and nosed her car into the bush at the beginning of that walkway there.
In there?
Yes.
Yes.
Next, the spirit of Kay leads the psychics in different directions as they attempt to uncover new clues.
If I go this way, I feel like I'm going to be safe. If I go that way, it's like the bridge is that way.
Psychic Deb Webber has found the point where Kay Stewart parked her car in June 2005. Within seconds of arriving, a quad bike tour approaches, and Deb hears a familiar sound.
That's the sound. Well, that's the sort of sound I heard when I was hearing the motorbike sound. But I keep getting, like, the sounds of motorbikes.
Deb attempts to retrace Kay's last walk. On a different day, Kelvin approaches the area. He has previously visited the park with Kay's family.
If you pull right in and face that post, you'll find that this is where her car was here.
Here we go. Good. Good. Keep going.
Police are not certain whether Kay took the nature trail or the Ngā Taonga trail. Deb attempts to find out.
The weird thing is, if I go this way, I feel like I'm going to be safe. If I go that way, it's like the bridge is that way.
Deb has chosen to take the Ngā Taonga trail.
I think we're on the right track.
While Deb focuses on Kay's final journey, the spirit of Kay has other plans for Kelvin.
See that thing? The fire sign that I was trying to describe with a triangle, with a diamond? It's more like a triangle fire. But look where it's pointing. Over into that valley as well, which is something I'd be looking at. And that's where that gate entrance is, where you're not allowed to go.
Deb reaches a walk bridge on the Ngā Taonga trail.
This is like sort of the one I saw because I couldn't see the end of it. A walkway bridge, it looks like. All I can see is planks on the ground. I can't even see a rail.
Deb is looking for other signs that she's on the right track as she emerges at a clearing.
She's going to a road. How did she get to a road? This one goes to the car park. I feel okay. I don't feel sick or anything at the moment. So I'm just following the feelings to keep going.
I still want to know where this guy was chopping the wood up. So I'm puzzled by that. I want to know exactly where. Right, okay, show us. Just going to wander down this way.
For legal reasons, we can't show the geography of where Kelvin is heading or where he ends up.
It's very possible that the guy may have been in this area at the time. Oh man, my heart's going through the roof in here.
Deb is still walking the Ngā Taonga trail.
Yeah, but I'm starting to get stomach turns now. There's something not right. You've seen her now. She kept showing me that car park for a reason.
Again, for legal reasons, we are unable to identify where Deb is in relation to Kelvin.
Man. This is probably where the trees or the cutting was. I'm feeling really quite overwhelmed. I've been told to stop. My hands are just pumping, man. That bloke must have been cutting the wood here, because I feel that this is really significant, this area, and just in around and through here.
Got to a road, and the only road I'm thinking would be the car park, because she keeps giving me flashes of the car park constantly. There's something to do with the car park.
She's brought me straight here. In spirit, she's brought me straight here. I really couldn't tell you if she went that way or that way, but I do know she's ended up here. She has a conversation, she turns her back, whack. Back of the axe handle, the back of it, pushing into the back of her head. Because I can see the steel, but I don't think it's the steel that connects with her.
But he does, he knows his area.
Why would you hit her? What did you hit it for? She's shaking her head.
And she said in the room that I knew him, and I don't know him. So, unless you know him, that's the only other thing. Unless you've met him or bumped into him or something, maybe.
Puts her on the trailer, covers her up, drives her out, leaves the trailer where it is.
I only get a small house, not a big one that he lives in.
It is placed. Plenty of places to hide it down there. Too easy.
It's only a small community because I get, it looks like, well, that's what it looks like, small houses together. A boundary around them, not in a street. It's contained.
Once everyone's gone and it's late at night, he's removed her. Put her on the back of a ute.
But it's going up and over the hill, which I don't get. If I go out,
got access to the gate, got access to more gates.
And then I get taken away over the hill.
He's put her somewhere else where we wouldn't probably think possible that she could ever physically make it if she was lost.
I can't feel her here. I think if she's here, you would have found her.
Deb continues her journey through the park. For legal reasons, we can't reveal the route she takes, but she ends up in the same area where Kelvin believes a man was cutting wood.
But I don't think anyone would have been suspicious of this guy. Like, you know, it doesn't feel like anyone would have noticed him being up there or down here or wherever. I think he was married, though. He's either married still or he was married.
Oh, I'd be putting pressure on his woman.
Kelvin asks to leave the park. He attempts to locate where Kay's body was initially taken.
If I'm right, and if she's right, in theory, we're taking the path now of where her body on the back of the trailer would have been led to. And I feel quite apprehensive about all this.
Again, for legal reasons, we can't identify the route Kelvin took or the property he went to.
Oh, man. Is there anyone home? I'm really quite close to who I think is more than likely responsible for Kay's disappearance or has knowledge of. Somebody's questioned him and he's lied.
Kelvin asks to return to the gate through which he believes Kay's body was taken.
Must have seen us coming.
Earlier, the gate was unlocked.
So, Sherlock, I wanted to come up into this area just to go for a little drive up here where it wasn't searched, because it's very possible that the person who may have taken Kay out has accessible knowledge of this entire area. The forestry, the fire sign that was way up over the hill points right up into this area here. That's why we wanted to come up and have a look.
But access is barred, and so Kelvin can't continue his search. During the course of the filming day, someone has locked the gate.
Oh, I think as far as the offender goes, I think that he is Parkia. I think that he, obviously a little bit olive. He's Parkia though, but he's quite well sunned because he's outside all the time. Possibly he's had a mow or a goatee at some point. So he's up there in that 40 bracket. Margaret's pointing up.
Ross Levy asks both psychics if they can channel the man's name.
It could start with though.
Deb attempts to spell out the letters of a first name.
There's a and there's an. What sort of name is that?
There's some sort of reference to.
Just
Both psychics have channeled the same first name.
Can you give me surname, please? I'm asking Margaret. She has to find out, you know. The second one starts with, has to start with. There has to be a.
The last name because she's drawn a big capital. I don't know if this is a common name. There you go. That's it. Done. Leave it at that.
For the first time on Sensing Murder, both psychics have spelled out the same first name and a remarkably similar surname. Next, the head of Operation Stewart reveals the significance of the psychic's leads.
What you've done there in the last few minutes is just correctly spell the Christian name and the surname of a person known to this investigation. I'm very impressed by that.
Over 2 days, the head of Operation Stewart observed psychics Deb Webber and Kelvin Cruikshank as they attempted to channel clues about the disappearance of Kay Stewart.
Both psychics have identified issues relevant to the inquiry that have never been made public. I have asked Sensing Murder not to disclose or identify those issues, as it may potentially affect the integrity of our investigation.
He is Parkia. I think that he, obviously a little bit olive. He's quite well sunned because he's outside all the time. So he's up there in that 40 bracket. Margaret's pointing up.
Late 40s, 50s. I know he's not young.
Possibly he's had a mow or a goatee at some point. The reference is that he's a little bit scruffy around the edges.
Doesn't take care of himself all that well. Like look-wise, appearance-wise. He's quite large around here, though. This is the thing that's getting me.
We have spoken to a number of people that do fit that general description. I can't really expand on that at this stage. We will continue our inquiries in that vein. However, I can't really comment further.
That's it. Done.
Both psychics channeled the same first name and a remarkably similar surname in connection with the possible offender. In the presence of Detective Senior Sergeant Ross Levy, Deb spelt out two names.
What you've done there in the last few minutes is just correctly spell the Christian name and the surname of a person known to this investigation. I'm very impressed by that. The name that Deb wrote on the bit of paper is a name known to the investigation team. Based on the assumption that that name has never been made public to the best of my knowledge, it's quite a fantastic thing, I guess, in many respects, for a person to sit down and just come up with that name out of the blue. We'd just like to invite you to sign that just to verify that those letters on that page and the name were in fact written by you on today's date. It might become a piece of Lower Hutt policing history.
Pretty strange, but it feels like he...
The person who was chopping the wood knows more about this case than all of us put together.
The police are aware of wood chopping activities in the park that day, and people have been spoken to in relation to that.
This is probably where the trees or the cutting was. I'm feeling really quite overwhelmed.
I can confirm that Kelvin did identify an area of the Ramataka Forest Park which was of specific interest to us, but I'm not going to comment any further on that, and would be very reluctant to have that disclosed in any public forum at this stage.
I only get a small house, not a big one that he lives in. It's only a small community, a boundary between around them, not in a street. It's contained.
I'm really quite close to who I think is more than likely responsible for Kay's disappearance.
The area that Kelvin identified in terms of the house, again, is an area of interest to the police. And again, I'm not prepared to make any further public comment about that, and I would urge that that location not be disclosed through your program either.
See, she keeps showing me the quad bike and a trailer.
They keep getting like the sounds of engines for motorbikes. Well, I did hear motorbikes earlier.
That person that was driving that quad bike has had a connection with Kay on that day.
From day one, we've been aware of a sighting of a quad bike in the park. Despite a number of public appeals, that quad bike and the rider have never been identified, and that is still an issue within the investigation that has yet to be resolved.
Is there gates that go further up into the hills and up and over the valleys?
Like if I drive out of that car park area, I can go up and around up the hills more.
And we want to start looking in the next valley. And then there'd be logging and stuff, and there'd be the slips.
Because there seems to be something to do with the vehicle going up and around that.
Shallock.
The valley that Kelvin referred to is an area where a lot of pine tree felling has occurred over the last 2 or 3 years. That area was searched at the time of Kay's disappearance. However, as with any aspect of this inquiry, it's always here to be redressed.
Why is she saying you know him? You know him.
Somebody's questioned him, and he's lied.
This is an investigation that police remain committed to. If we can prove that an individual was responsible for Kay's disappearance, we will hold them accountable.
If anyone has any information in relation to the disappearance of Kay Stewart, I would ask you to please contact the Lower Hutt Police on 04 5602 600.
There must still be people out there, I feel, who know what's happened, or even suspect what happened to Kay.
It's horrible what's happened, but we should at least be able to bring her home with us.
Our focus as a family is just to put Mum to peace, to find out what's happened to her, to bring her home. I'm not prepared to leave Mum where she is now.
Just give up Kay's remains, please, because, that's all we want.
That was the final in this season of Sensing Murder. Next week, Blockbuster Tuesday's back at 8:30 with Superman Returns. Right now, just underway over on TV1, The Big Food Fight. Here next on TV2, The Ghost Hunt season finale.